What is the most dangerous weapon in politics? It's not lobbying, it's not money, and it's not even social media. This is your emotions. Politicians and influencers on the social media, they playing with your emotions, taking you to different political directions, and then you're wasting your time because you're reacting with your emotions. I'm Sasha 30 years tax professional, and on this channel we investigate public policies asking one simple question: will they actually work? Investigation number one: Republicans are arguing that the small government is actually better. Democrats are arguing opposite. We need more oversight and we need more social services. So let me give you some real evidence. I researched two governments in California and Texas. Per capita, the governments of California and Texas are the same. It's actually one government worker per 14 residents. But what happens? Texas government collects from Texans and the federal funding 3 times less per person, per resident of Texas, than California government collects from Californians and from the federal government per person. 3 times. And then Texas government spends 3 times less per person than Californian government. So it doesn't matter what the size, it has to be functional and efficient government. But we will move on to the next investigation: immigration. And when we are talking about Republicans, we are thinking as a powerful and a strong restricted immigration policies party. Democrats loosen up immigration policies, very liberal on the borders. But what happens in reality, the only president which allowed illegal immigrants to be legalized was Ronald Reagan. In 1986, he legalized around 3 million illegal immigrants. And when you say, yeah, but it was one time, but then in 4 years, George W. Bush Sr. legalized another 1.5 million illegal immigrants. So this is an example when politicians telling you about directions, ideas of what they want to do. But in reality, they don't do anything of that. The problem is that we are not actually talking about public policies. We're just talking about the directions. So the idea that Republicans say we don't want illegal immigrants. Okay, bingo. What is the public policy? And there is none. And there is none from Democratic side. Let's move on. Investigation 3, healthcare. Before Affordable Care Act, the Obamacare, Republicans said this: let's allow insurance carriers around each state to compete for business from the low-cost states with the high-cost states, and open up that competition will lower the insurance rates. And again, idea is brilliant, but let's investigate what is in reality. Think about this. Low-cost state Wyoming, and there is an insurance carrier insuring 2 people and 10 horses. How can they operate in a high-cost state like California, collecting low-cost premiums? On the top of this, you have to deal with the regulations across the state. Each state has different regulations. So idea from Republicans, the direction is great, but not executable. So it's not a public policy, it's a direction. Democrats said, listen, we can put a government in charge to set up health insurance rates because 50 million people are uninsured. And what we will do, we will insure those 50 million people and we will lower the cost. Idea is brilliant. But the problem was that Democrats used our emotions and they included in that 50 million people figure millions of illegal immigrants. Yes, they couldn't be allowed to participate in the insurance, but they charged up, as I told you, emotions to show that how big the problem is. And for 10% of Americans who didn't have insurance or the insurance didn't work for them, we changed the whole thing for 90%. 15, 16 years later, it didn't work because Democrats pushed that Affordable Care Act through the Congress. So now we have a public policy on the health care forced in on American people by one party which couldn't work. And it still doesn't work. But let's move on. Investigation 4. Taxes in the federal budget. Democrats are feeling that the budget can be fixed by taxing higher income taxpayers, while the Republicans are arguing that if we tax everybody on a smaller rate, we can stimulate the economic growth, collecting more taxes, and fix the federal budget. Again, this is not a public policy. This is a direction from each party. So let's investigate. From the Democratic side, they think that we can increase more taxes on the high-income taxpayers. Top earners paying in California and New York approximately already 50% federal and state. How much can they pay more to fix the budget hole? Plus, Democrats are pitching us an idea that rich and powerful have to pay their fair share. What is the fair share? From the other side, Republicans lowered the tax bill for all the taxpayers. Cutting the taxes when you have the budget deficit will not fix the country's problem. Plus, cutting the taxes will increase the inflation. So we're getting public policies without understanding will they work. Let's move on to investigation number 5, national security. Again, we have Democrats and Republicans giving us directions. And we need the public policy as foreign policy because people are arguing with each other at home. They're concerned about our directions. I will give you an idea which is so ridiculous. One political party is supporting Ukraine, but it disapproves help to Israel. The other political party is opposite. Helping Israel is very important idea, but supporting Ukraine, this is not our problem. And there are people who are thinking why we are helping anybody. Russia is helping Iran. Iran helping Russia. China helps Russia and Iran. North Korea helping Russia. Russia helping North Korea. China helps Iran. Iran helps China. Then Iran sponsors terrorist organizations like Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis, and politically supports them. And they support each other. And you say, good point, what's going on? And the point is, how is it possible that our adversaries, our potentially enemies are supporting each other? They're all connected and they all against us. So we need a long-term foreign policy. Let's present our investigation findings. Neither party for the past 20-25 years presented a single working public policy. What we have instead is directions triggering our emotions so they can get in power and win the elections. Investigation verdict. We are wasting our time going at each other, thinking that Democrats are superior than Republicans, and Republicans thinking that they're superior than Democrats. But the problem is we're arguing about directions. Let's say we're in a dark forest. Some people saying, let's go this direction, let's go this direction, and wandering around that dark forest. But for the past years, we've been increasing our national debt around $2 trillion a year. We cannot anymore borrow. In 5-10 years, we will reach the point that we cannot afford to borrow anymore from our national debt. And the reason is we have to pay interest on national debt. In 5 years, it can reach $2 trillion. 10 years, it could reach $3 trillion. It will trigger collapse of our economy. Your taxes would have to be increased in 5 years by 50% and in 10 years by 100% just to avoid our economic collapse. We must do something today. But what are we doing? Arguing which directions to go in this dark forest. Today we still have time, and it doesn't matter you're a Democrat or a Republican. Who cares? We need solutions. For my part, 10-15 years I researched public policies. That's why I wrote the Purple Vision book. And that's why I started this channel, because our country needs solutions. And if you're one of those people who refuse to give up on our country, please join the conversation, because one person can be ignored, but you cannot ignore the community. Facts over party, solutions over politics. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.